guys,
This is Mark,
and this is Michelle.
and this is the Mark and Michelle show.
Exactly.
And you just missed Mark singing "I'm Ready" from SpongeBob.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready.
Yeah. So that's one of our fun shows that we watch sometimes.
I found this last weekend at Half Price Books for $10. You see that 10 right there?
$10.
Good stuff right here, guys.
Yes.
This is what you need. It has the autism chapter in it.
It's autism and ADHD chapter.
It has what no foods to avoid. Is that a correct saying?
Yeah.
Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, the no foods to avoid. You want to avoid the no foods.
Yeah.
You don't.
And
want
that's
to
what we're going to talk about tonight.
Tonight is the no foods episode because we have one or two others.
Yes.
Probably not nearly as extensive.
This one does not include strep foods. This is the overarching.
Okay. Why did we want to do a separate one on strep food?
Well, yeah.
Okay, well, let's do that tomorrow night.
This might take a while.
It might. So tomorrow night we'll continue on if we haven't completed everything, and then some other night we'll do strep foods because I think all that's important.
And there's so many more than what are listed here that I have found in other books and on his website and through people talking about him, what he had told them to do. So there's a big, huge, long list, but this is the list that's in here.
Yep. She just wrote notes.
Yes, my notes. Okay, so corn. Number one, corn is GMO.
Mm-hmm.
Even organic has been infiltrated by GMO.
Because if they cross-pollinate, even if you have an organic corn crop, and they are cross-pollinated by a non-GMO or by a GMO corn crop, then it is now GMO.
So this new kind of corn causes substantial inflammation. He says you can rarely have fresh organic corn in the summer only. This new kind of corn feeds pathogens as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just took notes. There's a whole lot more in the book.
Right.
I took the prime points. Okay, moving on to soy. Same thing as corn. It's become all GMO. He said it can also be contaminated with MSG. And if you miss it really a whole lot, very rarely have plain organic tofu or tempeh. I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah, you did.
Or the highest quality nama shoyu.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what that is. Shoyu is the Japanese word for soy.
So it might be, I mean, you can Google it.
No, we can. That's what we got another computer sitting here for.
He says to have that very rarely if you do. I'm going to move on to canola.
Mm-hmm.
It is GMO and highly inflammatory, particularly damaging to the intestines. It is a major cause of irritable bowel syndrome, and it feeds pathogens. It acts like battery acid in the veins. He does not like canola.
Okay, no, he does not like canola.
Processed beet sugar. It is GMO and feeds pathogens. But this does not mean that beets that are organic are the same way. He says organic beets are safe and healing, and you can eat those. We're going to move to eggs. This was the hardest one for me to give up. I have eaten eggs multiple times a day in my life. Did you find the answer?
Yes.
Mark has the answer.
Nama shoyu is, in Japanese, basically raw soy sauce. So it hasn't been pasteurized.
Oh, interesting.
So what did he say about it?
You can have it very rarely.
Okay, well.
The highest quality. So
Yeah.
spend the most money, maybe.
Well, yeah, or maybe what he recommends if he doesn't recommend. It's funny. Here is the Osawa Nama Shoyu. It's organic and aged in 150-year cedar kegs for extra flavor.
Wow.
$27.89 on Amazon.
Wow.
$27.89. Not $2,789. So,
Okay, so we're on eggs. It is a prime food for pathogens.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me explain so you know, eggs and other proteins like that, they're easily broken down into amino acids by bacteria and viruses, stuff like that, and can easily be put back together. Hey, Melissa, how are you? And can easily be put back together by the bacteria and the viruses and stuff like that to make what they need to build their cells. So it's good to avoid that stuff.
He also talks about how there is sugar in eggs. People think it's totally a sugar-free thing. He said,
well, probably not.
The animal wouldn't be able to live if there wasn't sugar in there.
Right. You got to have
the
glucose.
baby chicks.
Yep.
So it is not sugar-free. Also, eggs, if you have cysts or cancer, you definitely want to stop eating them. I have cysts all over me.
Eating eggs?
Eggs. I'm still on eggs. I've had cysts since I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And they are going down with this diet. That's cool. I still have this giant one right here.
Mm-hmm.
But I did quit eating eggs. They are also inflammatory and cause allergic reactions. They trigger edema in the lymphatic system. So eggs need to go away. That was hard for me, but I did it, and I actually started feeling better quickly.
Edema is the medical term for swelling. Just
right.
So you know.
Dairy. It was harder for me to give up eggs than cheese.
Right.
Dairy. Fat slows detox. There's so much fat in dairy. There's also sugar in the form of lactose. And he said that combination of sugar and fat creates, hi Melissa, causes diabetes. Anytime you have sugar and fat at the same time, the fat wraps the sugar and the sugar can't be processed. It is also a major inflammatory food and causes allergies. It also feeds pathogens. So yay, dairy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, pork. He says pork is so much fat. You absolutely cannot heal eating any pork product. Any.
Well, it is fatty meat. So
Farmed fish has been treated with antibiotics, highly likely because they raised them in such small spaces. So don't eat farmed fish.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to eat fish, he suggests wild-caught salmon, haddock, or halibut.
Mm-hmm.
Gluten is highly inflammatory. It confuses the immune system, which is what causes Crohn's and things like that, he said.
Mm-hmm.
So stay away from gluten. He said if you aren't too sensitive, you can have oats. But if you have strep, you can't have oats.
Ah, right.
All right, we're moving on to MSG. He said it builds up in the brain, going deep in the tissues, causing inflammation and swelling. It can cause strokes. Mark, I'd like you to look at page 283. It's the mark.
It's the mark. It is the mark.
It's over one, I think, or two. 283.
283.
What I want you to read is what all the sneaky things are that are actually MSG.
All right. The following terms usually mean that MSG is an ingredient: glutamate, hydrolyzed, autolyzed, protease, carrageenan, maltodextrin, sodium caseinate, balsamic vinegar, barley malt, malt extract, yeast extract, brewer's yeast, cornstarch, wheat starch, modified food starch, gelatin, textured protein, whey protein, soy sauce, broth, bouillon, stock, and seasoning.
And I've seen him say nutritional yeast as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a lot of things that are MSG. And MSG is a neurotoxin. It's very bad, according to him. Natural flavors, Mark, on 283. What are all the
Okay, any
fun
ingredient
things?
with a name like natural flavoring is hidden MSG. Natural cherry flavor, natural orange flavor, natural lemon flavor, natural fruit flavor. And he says they're not just fruit extracts and they're not your friends. The same goes for smoke flavor, turkey flavor, beef flavor, natural peppermint flavor, natural maple flavor, natural chocolate flavor, natural vanilla flavor, and all their natural and flavorful cousins. Although pure vanilla extract is safe to use.
So there's all your naturals. Next is artificial flavors. He says that's pretty much just made of chemicals. Don't have it. Artificial sweetener is most often aspartame, and that is also a neurotoxin. Now we're moving into citric acid, and I'm really glad I saw this today because I hadn't read it in depth in probably a year and 8 months. He says it is not so bad. It can be very irritating to the linings of the stomach and intestines. It can create inflammation, and do not confuse citric acid with citrus. Citric acid is the isolated form and is often derived from corn. Citrus is a healing food, all the citrus. So I was surprised because I've been avoiding citric acid really, and it's really hard to find some things like artichoke hearts. It's real hard to find them without citric acid.
The citric acid usually in things like artichoke hearts and like if you see it in apples and stuff is to keep them from turning brown. And now when I try to keep things like artichoke hearts or apples or other stuff from turning brown, I actually use a lemon.
Yeah.
Not citric acid. And you know, when he says in here that it's derived from corn, I remember talking about that in advanced genetics because we talked about biotechnology and what they use in a lab to take out a gene, for instance, and we talked specifically about citric acid and corn and how they took the gene for citric acid from fruit, and because corn will grow faster than a tree, so they just took the gene from the citrus fruit, put it in the corn's genome, implanted that back into a corn kernel, and planted that. And then the next year, they had hundreds of corn kernels with the citric acid gene. Then they used those to plant fields full of them. In 2 years, they had plenty of citric acid genes in corn, and the corn was producing the citric acid just like it was from a lemon. But it only took 2 years as opposed to 5, 10, 15 years for a tree to develop and make fruit.
So thinking about corn, consider citric acid. Okay. Did I finish?
I don't know. Did you get them all? You had a bunch of pages there.
Oh, did I go that quickly?
You might have.
I did. I finished.
Okay. All right. We're gonna
Then
let
we
her
can
look
go
at a
ahead
couple
and
things.
do the strep foods.
Well, do you have a list of the strep foods?
I don't in here.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where that is.
What we can
There
do.
are supplements that he says to avoid: L-carnitine, glandular supplements, whey protein, because it's a dairy byproduct.
Taj!
Plus, it usually includes MSG, so no whey protein. Fish oil supplements. Very concerned about mercury and dioxins in fish oil. He does have plant-based oils products in his supplements page. Iron supplements. He has a plant-based iron supplement as well, but anemia is usually caused by, what did I say, Mark? Virus?
Anemia?
Virus, I think.
You did. I remember
Yeah, okay. And so treat the virus, and then cherries are really good for anemia.
Really? Well, they are.
And then he does have a plant-based iron. So he doesn't want you to take iron. Right here it says spinach, barley grass, Swiss chard, squash, pumpkin seeds, asparagus, sulfur-free dried apricots, and other fruits and vegetables with relatively high amounts of iron.
All right, here are here we go. Here are the foods, some of the foods to avoid. All right,
This is for strep.
this is for strep. So no eggs, which we talked about a minute ago. No dairy, which we talked about a minute ago. So avoid milk, cheese, butter. D, if you're battling any strain of strep. Try to stay away from corn, wheat. I'm not going to say try to. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say literally stay away from it. Stay away from corn, wheat, barley, rye, and canola oil.
This doesn't even have the list.
Not the full list.
No, can you pull up the what foods not to eat, the detox journey?
You mean no foods?
We might just have to finish tomorrow.
We might have to finish tomorrow.
Isn't this an exciting show? But it has so much information.
We do. And
I know it's beans.
oh, well, you're talking about like
Strep.
yeah,
Foods to avoid for strep.
legumes like beans. What else?
All
Green
grains.
beans you don't have to avoid. All grains. Yeah,
Green beans are okay, is
Uh-huh.
what he's saying.
but he does have a list of foods that help fight strep. Arugula, ginger, garlic, winter squash, sweet potatoes, kale, and the meat and water of coconuts are all supportive foods to incorporate. He also says fresh oregano and other herbs like thyme, rosemary, and sage are very healing as well. And I noticed, yeah, here you go. Antibacterial and antiviral properties found in bananas are incredible for collecting strep and pulling it out of the system. Bananas are especially good for someone with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Berries are great for defeating strep anywhere in the body system. Spinach, especially for acne sufferers, is a wonderful addition to one's diet. Onions help fight strep in the bladder, reproductive system, intestinal tract, colon, and can also help in healing styes. Really?
You eat a lot of onions.
I don't know, you think, right? And juicing turmeric with cucumber or celery creates a very healing drink. Celery juice is another powerful drink that instantly starts eradicating strep. Cayenne pepper can be great, but be careful not to overdo it if you're sensitive. Raw honey contains phytochemicals that destroy all the different strep bacteria. So there you go. Not just no foods, but yes foods in fighting strep. All right. And he talks about healing supplements as well. Except that he doesn't seem to list them here. But anyway, all right. Shall we?
I guess we'll end for tonight.
We will. Guys, tonight we'll see you tomorrow night at 10:45. Please keep doing that celery juice. Please doing that heavy metal detox smoothie.
And
we'll
those lemon water.
and the lemon water. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Bye, guys.